Today, I'm going to be talking about how you value commercial real estate based on rental income. Welcome, Mike Slane, the Discount Property Investor. Today, I'm going to be talking about how you value commercial real estate based on rental income. So that's kind of what I was asked. It was phrased, how to value commercial real estate based on income or rental income. So that's really referring to the income approach. There's three kind of main ways to value commercial real estate, and this one is the income approach. So how do you do that? There's a couple of steps, and the income approach is actually one of the more involved ways to calculate value. And again, when we start getting into some of these more advanced techniques, they don't apply to me as a single family investor, or at least I don't like using them as a single family investor, because the income approach doesn't really account for the current condition of the property or really the quality of the neighborhood. So when you've got an apartment investor kind of trying to sell single families or a single family using cap rates, I kind of just turn the other way because I know that we're not really talking about the same thing. I invest in discounted properties typically because they're needing repairs, and I recognize that, and the seller recognizes that, and we're not worried about cap rates when we're looking at the single families. So this applies a little bit more to commercial real estate. It's going to be bigger deals, and again, you have to recognize it still doesn't account for some of those things, so you may have to discount your offer or your purchase price based on those things, and sellers should recognize that as well. So how do you do the income approach, or what do you do? First, you have to determine the cap rate for that area. So you want to find it based on other recent sales, just like you would comp another property. You're going to find other sales of commercial buildings as similar as you can, as close as you can. And that's what presents a real challenge when valuing commercial or apartment buildings, is there aren't often a bunch of apartment buildings that sold in close proximity, so similar neighborhoods, in a similar time period in the last 6 to 12 months. So often you're going to have to reach out farther in the city, and you're going to have to go back farther in time to find really good comps, and that in and of itself doesn't give you really good comps. So again, it's very difficult to do that. But again, we're going to determine the cap rate for an area. The next step is we're going to determine the net operating income of the building we are looking at. So what is net operating income? Net operating income is the income from all operations. So you'd be looking at like your rents, obviously. If you have on-site laundry, you can do that. Some of the coinage or money from laundry, as well as if you're charging extra for parking spaces or covered parking spaces and storage units, all of the operating income. Then you're going to have to subtract out all of the operating expenses. So that's going to include your utilities, your lawn maintenance, your trash, all these other operating expenses to keep that commercial building flowing. You have to subtract that out, and that is your net operating income. Step 3, pretty simple. We're going to divide the net operating income by the cap rate, and that is going to give us a value for the property. Again, remember, this doesn't take into account current condition. It doesn't take account market conditions, and it's slightly complicated. With this, though, what's kind of neat is that the lower the cap rate for an area, you're actually going to have higher values. And the higher the cap rate is going to decrease the value. So this is really an inverse relationship between those two things. And again, you can kind of play with the numbers, but I would always take these values with a grain of salt. Let's play with some examples here real quick. So I've got the calculator up on the screen now, and you can see that. So if we have a building where the net operating income is $100,000, where the net operating income is $100,000, and the cap rate is 5%, 100,000 divided by 0.05, 5%, we're going to have a value of $2 million on that building. So then let's just decrease the cap rate just a little bit, and we'll take 100,000, doing it wrong, 100,000 divided by 0.03 gives us a, what is that? $3,333,000. So 2% change in cap rate increases that building by $1.3 million in value. So again, it's that inverse relationship. Is kind of funny. Let's show you when we raise it to 100,000 for our operating income, and then we divide by 10%. So again, 10% cap rate. Cap rate was really high. Now our building is only worth $1 million. So again, it's again an inverse relationship. Take it for what it is. Quick summary is how you value a commercial deal based on the income. Again, you're going to determine the cap rate the best you can. Then you're going to determine the net operating income. Then you're going to divide the net operating income by the cap rate, and that's going to give you an approximate value of that piece of property. Thanks for watching.